Hello and welcome to the Knights of Gab-A-Lot. I am Sir Benjamin.
And I'm Sir Nick.
And we are here to gab your ears off over whatever we want. And today, that is Alien Earth, Episode 6.
The Fly.
Still haven't seen that movie. Either the original or the remake.
Yeah, same here.
We'll just add that to the list.
And I don't know, I get really squeamish with certain kinds of body horror. And I've seen clips of Jeff Goldblum turning into the Fly a little bit, and I know it's like a really old movie, but that kind of body horror really, really, really gets me. So maybe. Maybe.
Oh, okay. All right, let's get into it.
Let's do it, man.
So the episode opens in the secure lab with Wendy working with the baby Xeno, and the eye is watching.
Yeah. She's communicating with the Xeno. They're becoming friends. They've exchanged contact information. They'll become pen pals in the near future. You know, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
We're not pen pals. I guess they can be mind pals, whatever.
Oh, but they're not using their psychic link. They're actually communicating with a vocal.
Yeah, that's right. But well, I mean, in this scene, yeah. But I guess we already talked about how it's not technically a psychic link. It's like a sound frequency BS thing. That's cool.
Yeah.
And as this is happening, it's a little bit of a montage with Boy Cavalere once again. What's he reading? Some more Peter Pan. Riveting stuff. We also get a bunch of shots throughout the rest of the laboratory with the different alien specimens. So you get the that little fly nest one, you get the little tentacly vagina monster, whatever that thing is, and then the Xeno eggs, of course.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then
Sorry.
No, it's all good. I'm like, yeah, there's nothing else to add there. Really, it's just a montage of some kind. Really.
Yeah.
And then we get to a bit more interesting part. To Nibs, and she is in the other lab being scanned by Dr. Arthur and his wife, Dr. Sylvia.
Is that?
Well, that's what I got in my notes. I mean, that's what I remember.
Oh, there's quite a bit before that.
Wow, I skipped over a whole bunch.
I mean, I don't blame you. We have the very next scene. We got Joe and Kersh talking while they watch Wendy communicate with the Xeno.
Right.
And Joe is worried that her emotions will be damaged. There's talk about emotions and talk about psychological damage, and Kersh just kind of looks at him like he's an idiot, and that's that. Oh yeah. And then Joe starts talking about how he wants to someday. He's talking super casually about him and Wendy leaving and going home.
Right. Yes.
And Kersh again looks at him with, you're an idiot, and says, you think he being Boy Cavalere is going to let you take her. She has the potential to invent faster than light travel. It was just this random little thing kind of thrown in there. How do you know this? What would make you think about that? She's talked with a Xeno, and that translates into faster than light. I don't know. It seemed like a little weird thing to throw in there. I was watching it with Ashley again. I was like, wait a minute, just rewind that. And I didn't say anything. I wanted to see if she caught it, and she goes, that was weird. I'm like, okay, so it's not just me being OCD. Like, it just feels weird.
Though, like when you mentioned the faster than light thing, I mean, this is kind of an aside. I would have to go back through my little digging into a bit of the lore of the alien universe. If I remember correctly, Wayland Yutani had discovered a form of faster than light or close to light speed travel prior to this. But again, that's a bit of expanded lore. I'm not sure if that's brought up in the extra little documentary clips that are part of like the Prometheus DVDs and stuff. They usually have. There was a whole bunch of like there was the TED Talks with Wayland and all that. So it's not a. It's more of just a not a hey, you guys messed this up.
You're correct. Okay, this is full disclosure. This is AI overview on Google here. Yes, the Wayland Corporation invented faster than light travel in the alien universe, developing the technology around 2032. The first FTL capable spacecraft was the Heliades, which was launched in 2034, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, yeah, there you go. Faster than light travel's already been invented. This is 2099.
Yeah.
Or 2000.
2009.
No, a little bit later than that.
Yeah, 2099 was the Prometheus. No, 2091 was the Prometheus incident. I think it was 91, somewhere in there.
2099 was when Wayland Yutani merged as a corporation.
Mm-hmm, there we go.
But I think we talked a bunch about this before, where the Not Nostromo left before that, so they were just a Yutani ship.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I kind of caught that.
And yet they were being called Wayland Yutani. In like
were they?
I'm pretty sure. I'll have to double check that.
I have to look at that again. I was talking with Ashley about it, and she's like, "Yeah, they were talking about that before. How did you miss that?" I'm like, I don't know. But as far as the broader alien universe, 2099 has been the established merger year, and Wayland Yutani went before. So somewhere along the way, the show got it wrong. But that's neither here nor there. We've been down that tree, down that path. We've been up that tree and down that path. I got to get my analogies right. And then that's when we get to Nibs on the table. She is. Yeah, they're talking about how her problem is not mechanical.
Yeah.
I guess psychological. I do have notes about how the scene kind of goes down. I don't want to talk over you.
It's all good. I believe yours are probably a bit more detailed than mine. This is the scene where I got the idea that she had some kind of traumatic event before the incident on the ship and everything.
Yes, because Dom Sylvia does mention that. She says we knew about the trauma when we selected her, but I don't think they chose her because of the trauma. They're just saying they knew about the trauma prior to.
Yeah, and that's why I thought that they were going in the direction of like, oh, this attack of the eye is reminding her of that other trauma, which I thought was with the themes of Alien. I thought it was going to be an essay, and I thought, oh boy, like this is going
invasive sort of. Yeah. I'm really glad they didn't go that route. I know that childhood trauma in essay is a real thing. It's just, unless a movie is about that thing.
Yeah.
Like the Taken movie, for instance, is that, you kind of know what you're getting into. Yeah. Anyway, not my favorite subject. Yeah, for obvious reasons.
Yep.
So she makes the claim that the problems are not mechanical. I guess they're psychological. And then she suggests therapy. And then Evil Alfred says simply reset her. We're just going to reset her. And then we're going to slow down her. I can't remember the word that they used, but basically the simulated hormonal things. We're basically going to slow it down.
Yeah.
And they have a big conversation about the ethics of that. And then this is where So low sperm count. I actually finally figured out his name. It was Arthur.
Yeah.
So Arthur says that he won't do it, and then he gets fired. And then Evil Alfred has a fun little line. You have the rest of the day to get your affairs in order and arrange your transportation. If you are still here by nightfall, you'll be considered a trespasser and shot. I'm like, oh, Evil Alfred, thank you.
Another character that was, at least I liked him just because he was entertaining.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
yeah.
No, he's he from what I understand, he's a quite a well-known BBC actor or a British
Ah.
actor. And he's been in quite a few things. He's one of those actors that elevates his stuff because he's got some of the worst lines in this show, but
Mhm.
he delivers.
Yeah.
I like him. I personally I like him. And that's all I remember. Those are all the notes I wrote for that scene.
Yeah, that's more or less what I went with. The only little thing I added was that kind of like, so why, this is why you don't send kids into a trauma situation.
Yeah, well, I guess we'll be a little bit down the way. We have a little bit more on, excuse me, on Nibs, and
Yeah.
I have more to say on that when we get there for sure.
Hmm.
The next scene moves on to Joe and Wendy. They're walking down a hallway. They're talking about the specimens. They were like, was it this scene? They're just talking about the different specimens. I guess Joe is talking about how dangerous they are,
Yeah.
and she's like, "Well, they didn't ask to be here." And then she kind of gets this look on her face, and I generally like the actress in this role.
Hmm.
Ashley pointed this out to me. She's been kind enough to rewatch this with me. um, she says, "I hate the look that she gives when she gets this look on her face where, oh, Joe, I know so much more than you."
Yeah.
And it is overbearing. I think her character works better when she's moving from when she's acting from a place of innocence,
Yes. Yes.
not see you next Tuesday-ness.
Yeah. There are a couple other scenes we'll get to as well throughout the show that
Oh yeah,
that also highlight
especially the
like
next episode.
yeah, just whenever she has that superiority kind of
Yep,
thing going, it's annoying to watch.
it's
And
it's annoying and it's unearned.
yes, yeah, well, there's a lot of things I'll talk about later on that are unearned, but anyway, yeah, with
Yeah.
this scene, it started to kind of go in the direction I suspected the show was going to go, especially when Joe does the whole thing of first says hey they shouldn't have been brought to Earth. What if they weren't contained? And then she does the whole they didn't ask they didn't ask to come. Okay, all that kind of nice highfalutin talking, and then he saying things like, well, they're killers. This is dangerous, and she says, well, so are we, and we can make this one good. And I was like, this is some really dumb dialogue. And like,
Yeah.
well, the note I have here is, oh right, we should just let ourselves be killed by these things because it's their natural way. Crocs need to eat. Let's jump in the creek.
Disney has a really weird way of trying to flip things around and turn monsters into not necessarily endearing,
Mm-hmm.
but what's the word? Well, obviously they've made their bones on oh my gosh. Anthropomorph oh my gosh.
Anthropomorphic.
Anthropomorphizing anthropomorphizing animals.
Mm-hmm.
And they are doing a little bit of that with the alien.
Yeah.
Obviously the fact that the alien can't oh my god. The fact that the alien can't talk really limits it. And then I thought, will they actually make it talk? Anyway,
Oh
stupid
shit.
questions.
I we okay. After this little thing for after we're done this, we'll do another episode where we can talk about what we think could have been done better, and then do predictions for the next season. Deal?
Well, yeah, because again, season 2, for those of you who didn't catch the previous episode, season 2 got renewed. So we get to be subjected to more of this, and we will subject you to more of this. That would be a lot of fun. That would be a lot of fun. Usually my notes are about 3 or 4 pages of bullet points, and I made a concerted effort to keep it to under 2 pages. So some things I just decided to leave to the wayside.
Yeah, so did I.
Next scene's a little bit interesting. We have Boy Cavalere and Yutani meeting with the lawyer type guy.
Yeah.
Cavalere puts his feet on the table. This was a funny one. He walks in and Ashley says, "I hate his outfit." And the crazy thing, it's probably worth millions of dollars. And then when we paused it, we paused the show because one of our kids came in, our younger one, and she came in, and it's just a wide shot of them sitting at the table, and she points at Boy Cavalere and says, "Why is he wearing toilet paper?" And I was like, that does look like toilet paper. It's just one of those douchey rich person clothes styles, I guess.
He's wearing toilet pants. There's parachute pants for when you jump out of the plane. There's toilet pants for when you forget your parachute and you need to shit yourself on the way down.
Yes. Right. Well, yeah. The feature of your toilet paper pants is that they change color. No refunds. And it's kind of a long-ish scene. It's semi-interesting. They kind of go back and forth. Yutani wants to get the specimens back, but she's saying that she's trying to keep that quiet while the lawyer's around.
Yeah.
And Boy Cavalere brings up, "Oh, well, you don't just want the ship. You want the illegal aliens." Illegal aliens? No, I'm reading into that. You want the illegal alien specimens that are inside there. Oh, you didn't mention that, did you? And starts toying with her a little bit. And she says, no, there's no aliens in there. And he says, "Do you want to see photographs?" And then he reaches back to evil Alfred. And she goes, "No, they're proprietary specimens." And that seems to smooth things over the lawyer. And I have no idea why.
Well, didn't she mention that they were not supposed to make it to Earth? They were supposed to be up on they were going to be on a Yutani space station and then quarantine there and whatnot.
Yes. Even with that, I'm surprised that there was no other action made by the representatives of the 5 corporations to look into this situation.
Yeah.
Because that's a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
And the lawyer, I mean, we're talking about a show where people talk about how the captain died horribly in just a very casual manner, in the same conversation where he's also talking about that the substitute captain likes to be on top during sex. So in this show, the lawyer seems only mildly disturbed by the fact that any of this is going on, but whatever. That's the show. But there was a fun little maneuver that Boy Cavalere made in this scene. Do you remember what that was?
Yes, because he agrees to return the specimens. Where was it? Just he will return the specimens to Weyland-Yutani after the 6 weeks of required quarantine. Oh, and a lot of money.
Yes, but he did it in such a way where he says, "Yes, I will give them back to you." And she goes, "Amazing, fantastic." And then they get up, the deal is over, and then he says, after, of course, the mandatory 6-week quarantine. And she says, "What?" And then she adds another $50 billion onto the pile of money that she's already offering. And he says, "No, and she glowers a lot, and that's the scene. It was a mildly interesting scene. Ashley and I actually spent a lot of time talking about the structure of the overseer group of the five,
Hmm.
because at the beginning of the scene, it made it seem like he had a lot more jurisdictional power
Hmm.
uh, than he did at the end. The way he made it sound like at the beginning was, I will make a ruling and you will be happy with my ruling. What
Yeah.
ended up happening was Yutani and Cavalere struck a deal, and he goes, well, you're good with that? You're good with that? Okay. And it felt like you said last week, it's kind of in the details. It didn't feel like a real meeting
Hmm.
in that respect.
Yeah.
Um, but for once, at least with Boy Cavalier, I was actually I liked the little maneuvering that he did. I thought that was pretty good. But the details of it, I felt like, well, I don't want to repeat myself. You're
Yeah.
shaking your head. You have more to
Oh,
add.
not
You're
really.
better with details than I am. So
Yeah, other than yeah, it's I'd say the majority. I can't. I wish I could give like specifics, but yeah, there was yeah, just something about the way the scene played out and how it was constructed that it's like it had good moments and then also kind of like was kind of and I think the especially the lawyer that he didn't actually seem to have any authority, that it just like you said, he starts strong as in like I'm going to make a you're going to make your point. I'm going to make a ruling. You're going to be happy with it. And at the end, it looks like more he was just there to keep them from strangling each other.
yeah,
So it's kind of like, okay. Yeah, I don't got really
yeah,
anything to add. I did like like you said, I did like the maneuvering of Boy Cavalier. The writing on that I think was actually quite good.
yeah. Because there is a lot of stuff in the show that would. I mean, it kind of sets up a lot of this back and forth play between characters and factions,
Hmm.
and it doesn't really always take advantage of that. And sometimes when it does it badly. But in this kind of case, I'm just happy when they do try. This was an example I thought of, a mostly good example,
Yeah.
but for the most part, yeah. Oh, this was kind of interesting. So when Boy Cavalier leaves
Hmm.
the meeting, Morrow comes up and talks to Yutani, and says he suggests infiltration and destabilization of Neverland Island.
Hmm.
Um, and she kind of waffles on it a little bit, and he says, "I can get you a xenomorph." He said a xenomorph or a specimen by tonight.
Yeah, he
It was
did.
either by tonight or the next night. I
So
can't remember which one it was.
it was a very small timeline he was promising.
A very, very small timeline. And then they leave, and then Morrow and Kersh show up in the same elevator and kind of have a bit of a pissing match with each other, which there was a bunch of it I felt like was really juvenile. I felt like those two characters needed to have a better piss to throw at each other, for
Hmm.
lack of a better word. I'm really tired, so the
So it's
English isn't my English. But after they're kind of done, I don't like. There was a little bit set up with this scene, a little bit of rivalry, which does have a little bit of payoff later. But when Morrow gets to his floor, he looks at Kersh and says, "I'll see you later, old toy," and then walks off. And I thought that was actually a pretty great line.
mhm. Well,
And then
I think it also highlights a bit more of like I think we kind of saw this in I think it was the second episode that Morrow resents his humanity, or at least not in the sense of his physical humanity of flesh and blood.
a little bit, a little bit,
Yeah, and
which
or sorry, resents the limitations of his human form. I think.
I think, yeah,
Yeah,
more or less, yeah.
yeah, and so I think in some ways it may have been a bit of a round jab at that in some ways, but that might be me just reading into it.
Yeah, yeah. It wasn't an awful scene by any means. Again, the actors really elevate the role, but it felt like there could have been a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
But now we get back to Nibs. She wakes up from her, and I was about to say surgery, procedure. Dom Sylvia says that the trauma has been removed from her, and I can only assume just they went in there and took her memories out one way or another.
Yeah.
And then Nibs wakes up in her bed, her charging station bed, and Wendy is there. And then in the middle of this conversation, she kind of tells her / makes her realize that Nibs has a bunch of missing memories, which unsettles her further. And why would the rest of the staff of the facility not brief the kids to at least say, Nibs has been through something traumatic, so we don't need to question her about things, okay? We want her to have a safe and restful recovery, right? So we don't want to re-traumatize her, right? I mean, they're still kids. You can they didn't do any of that.
Yeah.
So it's just the minute that Nibs wakes up, it's undone.
I was also having similar thoughts. Like, there's so much. See, these are those things in this show that I'm like thinking, what was the writer thinking? Like, making the scientists, so people who run this facility, that dumb. Like, it's and I think what keeps on getting me is the scientists then bring up the stupidity. Like, in the previous part where Arthur was talking about the issues of what could happen, and there's certain testing that hasn't been done, and there's all these things throughout the episode where the scientists are like, hey, we should be doing this to keep this from happening, we should be doing this to keep this from happening, and it's brushed under the rug, or and all that stuff. And it's one thing when a show is and when writers are having characters be dumb. It's even worse when those characters are pretty much pointing it out but not doing anything about it.
Yeah, almost. I mean, I've kind of done this with some creative writing practices where, I'll have an earlier section that I'll go, oh, I'll come back to that because it's a little undercooked, and then I'll go to the later bit, and then I'll get to the end, and I'll go, oh, it's good enough, it's fine. I don't need to go back and refine it.
Right.
That's just I mean, for me, that's laziness. So I can only assume when I see stuff like that, it's laziness. Takes one to know one.
Yeah. Yeah. It also could be that, I was thinking that, similar thing of laziness, or I've seen this before where, hey, I know this is a mistake. I'm gonna draw attention to it to show, like, oh no, I know it's a mistake, or whatever, and then use that as a crutch and not actually fix it.
It's almost worse when you let us know that you know. Because, again, if it's just Nick with a creative writing project, boo-hoo. But this show cost millions of dollars.
Yeah.
I would have expected a little bit more than that. You'll never guess what happens next. Boy Cavalere reads Moby Dick. Just kidding. More Peter Pan.
I mean, if you want to read someone who's long-winded, read Moby Dick.
Good Lord. Interesting, though. It's interesting.
Yeah. I
have it on my shelf back there somewhere.
I actually finally finished it this summer, and like, I don't regret it, but you definitely have to be in the right headspace because it is long-winded.
Yeah, I remember I was reading it out loud to Ashley, and we got stuck barely a quarter of the way through because it was exhausting to read out loud.
It is.
So yeah, so he's reading Peter Pan. Slightly and Morrow are talking. Slightly's on a walk. Yeah, no, no, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. And we don't hear Morrow's voice, but we know what's going on.
Mhm.
And then Smee walks up behind, and he's like, "Why is everybody so grumpy?" And Slightly says, "Oh, I
I'm acting
promised."
like a kid. This is how a kid acts. Ugh. I'm gonna
Yeah,
throw my hands up and down because I'm a kid.
it's like with kids. The funny thing with kids is they don't know what to do with their arms. So it's
True.
but he took that and he just made it like he's like one of those guys at car lots,
Yeah.
No,
Yeah, the wind the windsock
he's
thingy
not
thing.
that bad. I'm exaggerating, but
It's pretty close.
the next episode I watch, I'm just gonna laugh out loud, and Ashley's gonna be like, "What are you laughing so hard about?" It'll take longer to explain. um, Slightly promises to be a better friend. I promise we'll spend more time together. Blah blah blah. Um, and then Slightly visits Joe. Joe asks him what his first name is. Morrow's talking to Slightly in his ear thing. Basically, it's pretty clear at this point he's trying to lure Joe into the laboratory so that way the facehugger can jump on him.
Mm-hmm.
And Morrow's talking in his ear like Bad Crunk from Emperor's New
Yeah.
Groove.
Yeah.
And trying to convince Slightly to take Joe. And then a security guard walks in, gets Joe, and takes him on patrol in the rain. And once again, just wishing that they had put more thought into the security guard force
Mm-hmm.
characters, because this would have made this conversations like this more interesting. Is Marcy actually your sister? Marcy/Wendy. And then Wendy and the Xeno are.
Well, before that, Joe was also
Oh,
asking
sorry. Yes, of
because Joe
course.
is oh yes, trying to ask leading questions to get information on how to get off the island. He's not very good at asking. He's not very good at
No.
asking. He pretty much is just straight up asking, "How do I get off the island?" And they're just telling him like, "Hey, dude, look, we got a good gig here. We're gonna be able to make some money. We got some job security here. Don't screw it up."
So subtle.
Just a little note on the security team. Like, I know we don't get a lot of characterization with them. Um, I did like them. I with the little that we got of them, I actually kind of liked these people. They weren't jerks for the sake of being jerks. They were kind of real, and they're just like, hey, I got to eat. We got a job to do. I need to
Yeah.
work, and they were working stiffs. They acted like working stiffs, and they weren't jerks. They weren't bad guys. At least
Yeah.
this
No, I
team.
like the dude. I definitely
Mhm.
like the dude. Got a little bit of characterization, so I'll take what I can get.
Yes, I think that's more where I'm going with. It's like, oh, people who actually seem to be actual characters, even though we rarely see them. But
Yeah, and
sorry, with the
they're not like that
potential
all
to
the
be,
time.
yeah, more. Sorry, I'll clarify more of the potential to be actual characters.
Yeah.
I don't know, something about them. There felt like there was more potential with them,
Yeah.
just based on their interactions.
It could have been. They could have been something good. um yeah, Wendy and the Xeno again. Xeno's bigger. It's a big boy. It's such a good boy.
Are you good? Are you so good? Well, let's call him Fifi.
Beefy.
Oh wait, he's not. He's too big for that. That's a little yappy dog. Never mind.
Yeah, he's it's bigger now. It's probably about the size of a Doberman at this point.
Hmm.
Yeah, they're just talking. It bangs its head against the glass, startles her,
Ah, yes.
and
That's it.
they're going to be best friends. Oh, this is where we start to get to some stupid territory really quickly here.
Mm-hmm.
So Kersh is in the helo with Boy Cavalere, heading back to Neverland from the meeting with Yutani. And Kersh has he's got like a little data pad thing where he can look at the laboratory and look at the different security cameras. And he calls Isaac slash doesn't matter what his other lost boy name was.
Yeah, I think
Calls
it was.
Isaac.
Yeah,
Pardon?
I think it was Slightly.
No, Slightly's the one who's trying to find somebody to get face hugged.
No, that's Smee.
Nope. Smee is the black kid.
Oh, you're right.
Slightly's the Indian
You're right.
kid.
My bad. My bad. Yeah, I can't remember what his name was.
And then Isaac. Isaac's the nice kid, the one who works in the lab with Kersh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can't remember what he was called before.
Yeah. He, I think this actor has kind of like a bit of a winsome charm to him.
Mm-hmm.
He really stands out amongst the others in I think, a pretty good way. Unfortunately, he's supposed to be a super smart kid. That's what he's been posed to be. And he, well, spoiler alert, he wins himself a really fat Darwin Award pretty quickly here. Kersh instructs him, go into the lab, you're going to go feed the creatures. So the different containment units have these little little boxes. You open one end, you put the food in, you close it, and then on the other side a screen comes down, and then the alien can eat the thing. So throws that into the sheep unit, and then to the weird spindly vagina monster thing, and then gets to the fly unit, and he breaks the door off, like that little food trough door.
Yeah.
And rather than just trying to repair it or figure out what to do, he releases the security features of that unit and then steps inside.
Using his foot to hold the door open and gets his whole body in.
This, you asked me not to swear, so I won't swear. This scene baffled me almost more than any other scene before. The sheer frickin' stupidity. Like my kids, my 11-year-old, if we had animals that we had to throw food to and the security thing didn't work, she would be open the door, shove it in, and she would close it so frickin' hard.
Mm-hmm.
There'd be no issue. He goes in and he's just like, he just puts his foot holding the door open and he lays it down really slowly, not in slow motion, just really slowly, dramatically looking around in this dangerous freaking containment unit. And then the sheep, boom, bumps its head against the glass thing, startling him, and he moves his foot and the door closes, locking him in. Oh, heavens, I didn't see this coming. And this is, I guess, where the episode gets its name, The Fly. I hate this scene so much.
I had pretty much a similar reaction, and again, it falls into, like, I know there's the whole suspension of disbelief. Characters act dumb in movies and shows all the time, and there's certain things that you can be like, oh, like, kind of, I would have done that differently, but okay, I can. But there's just certain things like this one is, again, it's similar to the whole thing with in the previous episode, sticking your whole hand into a specimen jar to place a dead rat in the bottom instead of just dropping it in. It's like, no, we got to place it all. We got to put our hand all the way in and place it down. Similar thing. He's got to put his whole body into the containment unit to place the tray of food on the ground. It's like, dude, it's a bunch of metal carbon or whatever those creatures have evolved to eat. Just open the door a crack. You don't even have to be on the tray. Just toss that crap in there, man. And it's just it's stupid things like that
Yeah, and I know
get me.
that somebody who likes the show, and again, if you like the show, God bless you. I'm not going to yuck your yum, but again, they might make the argument that, well, it's a kid, and kids, they're not dumb, but they just don't know. My 11-year-old would throw that in and shut it. Okay, don't give me that crap.
Mm-hmm. If a kid knows something is dangerous, they're gonna try to be as far away from that thing as they possibly can. Like, hey guys, have you ever seen an 11-year-old who's not too keen on petting a dog, and the dog is totally friendly and wants to be their friend? Have you seen how the kid is like barely gets their hand out? Maybe if you're able to encourage them, maybe.
Just freaking stupid.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Isaac's stuck in this containment unit, and then the flies come out. Now, the flies have an interesting method of eating.
Mm-hmm.
So, one of them flies out, lands on his arm, and it's staring at him. And then it kind of horks up this acid from its proboscis. The
Proboscis?
thing?
Yeah.
Proboscis, thank you. Yep. Shoots it at his face, melts his hybrid skin, and then he falls over dead. And then a bunch of them drop onto him and just start lapping up all of this melted carbon,
Mm-hmm.
I guess,
and start pumping more acid into his body to break it down.
And that's it, Isaac. You're dead. Go with God, I guess. And then, unless you have more to add to this riveting scene.
No, I've got nothing more to add.
Yeah. Wendy confronts Dom Sylvia about Nibs. Asks, basically they argue back and forth about it's right, it's wrong. And Dom Sylvia, you may not agree with her, like if you're just kind of watching it and you're taking the ethical conversation seriously, which it's hard to do, but if you were, Dom Sylvia does a really good job at giving her side of it.
Yes.
She makes a good case. Whether or not you agree with it is separate from that. And Wendy, she tends to have more emotional answers, which is understandable because she's a kid. And then we get yet another one of her self-righteous, smug answers. What if you're wrong?
Yep.
Or no, actually, excuse me. What if you're what's wrong is what she says.
Yes. This part.
This is kind of the point for me where I realized, all right, the show is really leaning into the whole idea that the real monsters are the humans.
Yeah, like you were saying with Dom Sylvia, she's another character I actually liked because how do I put it? Just the way she presented her cases, she came across as someone who believed what she believes and is committed to it, committed to her convictions, right or wrong. And she seemed to have thought through the ramifications, negative and positive, of what she believes or what she's going to do, and is at peace with if something is wrong. And even if she knows something is ethically wrong, she has made peace with it. And it's she just seems like I think of all the characters, she, with what we're given, I would say she seems to be the most complex of how she's written. Some could argue that Kersh is more complex. there's certain things that just don't quite make sense with what Kersh does late in this show. But I'm just thinking with what we're given and everything, I think Dom Sylvia is probably the most well developed in complexity as a character.
I think so. At least one of them. Her and Marorrow definitely is one of those as well.
Yeah.
Kersh is different because he's, not human technically. Yeah, she still has stupid moments, but I agree with that pretty much. She's definitely one of the better characters.
Yeah.
When and if we were to rewrite the series, she would return for sure.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Sorry, my brain was already going on to like, oh, this would be interesting to do this with her. I'm like, stop, bring it back, come back. We're not in creative fan fiction mode. We're bring it back. Back to with Wendy and her whole self-righteous stuff, like the whole thing where she goes on about humans being bad because they dissect things and do experiments and blah 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 blah. And yes, one could argue ethics about whether or not in scientific discovery we should dissect and so forth. That's a whole other chestnut.
I would have liked a lot more actual complexity for sure.
Yeah, like I actually think that's another thing that another idea this show brings forward but doesn't explore properly. Just gives the pithy little, oh, this is right, this is wrong, move on.
Basically the tweetable morality.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it doesn't explore it. So that's, I don't want to go too off the rails, but that's one of my issues with what has been happening with a lot of established sci-fi franchises. For example, would be Star Trek. Like I did try to watch a bit of Discovery when it came out, and one of the things that I found quite annoying was that yes, it would try to explore ideas, and maybe give you another perspective, but it also told you what was the right perspective to have, and the main character always made the quote unquote right choice, and anything they did was right, and that bothers me in sci-fi, especially shows that have a history of exploring big ideas. I mean, how many times in Next Generation or Deep Space Nine there were characters given, well, either they'd give a show maybe exploring an idea and giving two perspectives, and basically letting showing the audience these two perspectives and not showing them either one as right or wrong, which I thought those were great. But then you'd also have those times where, like in Deep Space Nine, you got Benjamin Sisko has moments of having to make a decision, and sometimes he actually made the wrong decision, and the show showed this main character making the wrong decision, which I think that shows a complexity. And so again, this show brings forward ideas, but then tells you what is the right decision, but doesn't explain why or anything like that.
Yeah. What's her name? Michael Burns?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
From Discovery. Basically, she was just Space Jesus. She was there to show that for all the great exploits that the other beloved characters from earlier years did, she did it first, and she did it better. I hated that show.
I didn't get very far. I think I only watched like 3 or 4 episodes, and I was like, I'm done.
I watched a few episodes. I'm not a huge Star Trek nerd, so a lot of the things didn't really bother me. It was more so just the story and the matter-of-factness, which we get a lot in this show. I think that's a really good way of putting it, it presents the ethics and morality, and it tells you what you should think about it.
Mm-hmm.
And which is bonkers because she's clearly wrong, but the show thinks that she's right. It's not a case where it's sort of an unreliable main character where she's adamant, I'm right, but actually ends up being wrong. Guaranteed, it's not going to be that situation.
there are some other points in this, like in Alien Earth, that has similar parts to that, as well as some other things that I'll get into later when they come up.
When they come up, for sure.
Yeah, I've got some. Yeah, I've got thoughts.
In the next scene, we got low sperm count Arthur. He's packing his things. Joe meets him in the tech lab. Joe asks if his sister is actually safe in the facility. Arthur looks at the camera and then says, "Yes, of course it is. We're here to serve. We're here to make everything better. Here, do you want to see? Let me show you." And then goes to the computer to do the classic, "See, this is her vitals." And then he writes out a message, to which all he says is, "Get Wendy out." And then he gives him the boat code. And then he turns the hybrid's trackers off. And then Joe leaves. It was an all right scene. I
Go ahead.
Personally, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, you're already in the middle of the thought. Go for it.
I feel like in the future, even a retro future, surveillance wouldn't just be cameras. I feel like there would be more security parameters. Like Kersh can see through they can see through everyone's eyes, but it's completely secret what he's writing on this computer. It just, I don't know. It didn't work for me. And then turning off all the hybrid trackers, Y for yes, N for no.
No extra password or anything like that.
Yeah, no other password. I mean, I guess you could say he was already logged in, so his credentials had already been put in, but it didn't. Well, I don't know. What do I know? I'm not a tech guy.
Yeah, but when you mention the security thing, that is one thing that has bothered me in this show. I mean, there's other points where it becomes more obvious with this facility, for being so secure and everything. No one's monitoring these security cameras. It's only after an incident happens that people are looking at security footage. Yeah, like you'd think there'd be some kind of live monitoring of some kind. Like, sure, you're gonna have some bored guys, in a room watching the screens, but that would make sense. That, like, just something.
Well, they have AI.
Yeah,
they've had AI technology since the first movie. I feel like it felt too simplistic. It didn't feel like I wasn't convinced by it. Personally.
Yeah. There's a lot of this facility that doesn't convince me that it's a high security facility.
Yeah. Where's the high security?
Yeah.
Again, they tell you, they don't show you.
Yeah. And then also, near the end of the scene, Arthur sees that, I have it finally written down, Isaac/Toodles.
Yes. Toodles. I wrote down Toodles/Isaac, so there we go.
Yeah.
Wendy.
That he is not connected to the, and so Arthur sees it and he heads out to find out what the fork is going on.
I actually had a massive, massive problem with how he finds out. He finds out only because he deactivated the trackers on the hybrids. Nobody else in the facility was aware that Isaac's vitals went down. Wouldn't it make sense for these proprietary, basically, technological marvels would be hooked up? Their what do you call it? I just said it a moment ago. Their vitals.
Yeah.
Would be hooked up somewhere, and somebody would get an alert. I would expect low sperm count or Dom Sylvia to have something where like bling, 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 and you would look. You don't happen to find it. You're gonna get told.
Yeah.
This felt stupid. It was not convincing at all.
No.
And I don't think I'm nitpicking.
No, I would agree that would make sense.
That's a small detail that just,
This multi-billion-dollar company is losing money. with this amount of incompetence, this place is leaking money. The
Yeah.
company.
I feel like if this were a real facility, it would not be in operation for very long.
No.
So he heads over to the lab because he sees on the computer the last known location was the secure lab. Slightly is also heading to the lab, and he's having second thoughts about leading someone to a facehugger. Marorrow is threatening him. I will kill your mother if you don't. Okay, I'll do it. And he meets up with Arthur, and they go into the laboratory together. They find Isaac. He's on the ground. And again, this secure containment unit with dangerous creatures, and Arthur opens up the door. I thought, okay, surely he's going to grab the corpse and he's going to drag it out and he's going to shut that freaking door immediately. Nope. He's literally got the door open and he's just like gawking at Isaac for about 45 seconds. It was really long. And the insects are just in their hive. They're totally fine, and maybe they're not turned on by human flesh. I don't know. I mean, we're carbon-based units and they eat carbon, so I don't see why not. But I don't know. He's sitting there for a long time, and they're not coming out. And eventually he gets wise and he pulls them out. And while he's doing this, I know why. I know why the writers made it happen this long. Because they needed Slightly to have time to go up to the console and open up the containment unit that has the Xeno eggs.
Ah, yes.
Which, again, why does Slightly have access in the secure lab? This isn't how secure labs work. Secure labs have need to know personnel and they have their own credentials. This isn't freaking hard. I would have to imagine that the level of security would need to be at least on par with the CDC. I have an uncle who works in the CDC. He works with chimpanzees did back in the day. I don't know if they do that anymore. Sorry, don't go after him. But I remember he was describing to me just all the painstaking things that they do to make sure everything is safe and secure. And there's credentials, there's passwords. Not everybody has access to everything. Good Lord, Slightly has never needed to be in the lab ever, but he has access to do it. He has the ability to open up the Xenoegg containment thing. This is stupid. So he does that. He sneaks out. Arthur looks out and goes, oh no, the egg thing, it's open. And then he goes to the front door and sees Slightly standing on the other side like a Stephen King child. And just, nope, I won't help you. And then gets stalked by a face hugger. And sorry, Arthur. It was nice knowing you, I guess. Ashley I thought it was a good joke. Or if he's low sperm count, does that mean that the Xeno is going to have issues? Low sperm count as well. Yep, gets face hugged.
Oh man, now I'm just picturing a defective Xenomorph running around with like a stub for a tail or something because there's not enough genetic information in Arthur.
Which means it would probably be imbalanced, right? Because the tail is a weapon and it's balanced too. So walking around like a drunken sailor. That would be kind of funny.
That would be hilarious. Oh man, I would actually like to see that. Oh man.
Yeah, so he gets face hugged by Arthur. So sorry.
Of course, all of this is being observed by Kersh, who's on the plane flying back with Boy Cavalere from the talks. And, Boy Cavalier is like, everything okay? And Kersh, affirmative. Okay. And then Slightly goes, Slightly, right? Not Smee? My brain.
Yeah, Slightly's the one who,
goes into the lab to grab Arthur's body and goes into a vent to hide it in a vent, gets into and
Well, the bugs chase after him as well.
right,
These
yeah.
bugs that spray metal or spray acid to eat metal, and they get blocked by a flimsy vent cover.
A very big vent cover.
Yeah. Did you ever? This vent cover reminded me of what was that frickin' video game? Oh, why can't I remember what it was called? It was the one where you play a guy who nearly dies, and then he becomes basically a cybernetic super soldier.
Is that
Mankind Divided. Deus Ex.
Oh, okay.
Deus Ex Mankind Divided. In that game, there's a bunch of, it's a stealth game, and there's a bunch of vents that you can open up and hide in, and they're just ridiculously large vents. But in video game logic, you go, oh, it's so that I can sneak around. This reminded me of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're in there, they're totally fine. The bugs are not going to eat through the metal for sure.
And the episode ends. Again, this secure lab. I mean, I'm trying not to nitpick, but I don't know. Yeah, like you'd think that the ventilation of I know that's a bit of a nitpick because it's vents are used to get around in movies and video games all the time, so a bit of a nitpick. But I did find it kind of like, okay, this is a secure lab. There's protocols to keep things secured, so the ventilation is going to be set up in such a way that you keep these darn things secured. This vent did not come across as secured. Again, that I would consider, like, even that I'm like, yeah, Benjamin, you're nitpicking. I totally admit
I don't think that's a nitpick. I don't think it's a nitpick at all, because if you have a lab that is meant to have secure specimens in it, so I mean, I've seen different kinds of vents. So they'll have the grating, and then they'll have like some sort of hardwire mesh behind it, so that way air can still circulate, and then maintenance can just zip, take out the screws, pull out that mesh, and then go get access if they need to. But this was the flip. Like if the Xeno got out, it would just break through this thing and then have access to the rest of the facility.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's a nitpick. It's just really stupid.
Yeah.
Again, like I keep wondering, everybody praises Noah Hawley, the writer-director guy, for what I think he did a few seasons of the TV show Fargo. I heard that the first 2 or 3 seasons were amazing, and then it kind of goes off the rail at the end. And I keep hearing he's brilliant, he's brilliant, he's brilliant. And there's nothing brilliant here.
No, not at all.
It baffles me. It baffles me that this much money can get spent on something that makes no sense. Thank God I have the Alien films on Blu-ray, because I'm gonna be washing it down pretty quickly here.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of like anything else I don't have much to add, which is these are those moments where I'm like, okay, am I just not smart enough to come up with something witty to talk about? Or is there literally nothing to talk about?
Well, there's not really a whole lot more to say about this episode, if that's what you mean, without getting into next episode.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, the Alien Predator series is it's getting its Star Wars treatment.
I haven't seen the last Predator movie I watched was The Predator, and that movie was so stupid.
It's a really stupid movie. I'll admit, I find it funny, but it's more of a parody than it is an actual serious Predator film. It's a really dumb film. But there's the new film Predator Badlands, where a rejected predator escapes onto a hostile planet and then befriends a broken Wayland Yutani android.
Yeah, I heard.
And I've heard Jeremy Jans did a review of it, and he was like, I recommend it. No alcohol required. It's not bad. And I've also heard quite the opposite. So I'll be interested to check it out. I'm not holding my breath. We're also supposed to get Alien vs. Predator 3 at some point.
I'm pretty much done with the Alien vs. Predator franchise. I consider it, of course, it's like, an alternate timeline, from this. And I'm also kind of like, just whatever. If you can find the first original comic online somewhere, read it. It's great fun. It takes place within.
The 2010 video game is also good.
Okay, I haven't played it. I haven't played any.
As a Marine, a Predator, and a Xeno, and they all have their own different storylines.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I'll watch it.
I don't know if I will. I've seen the first two. The first was okay. The second was colorful metaphors.
Better than this.
It's not saying. I don't know which I'd.
We watched AVP Requiem right after we finished Alien Earth, because we wanted to see. Ashley hadn't watched it. I've seen it before, and I thought, surely Alien Earth is better than, but no. Requiem was actually way better.
Wow.
At least in my opinion. That's going to be subjective, but I enjoyed it way, way better. And I think it's a pretty disgusting movie. It's pretty violent for the sake of violence. Yeah, and I like violent movies, but this felt grotesque at times. Yeah, I don't need to see a child get face hugged and then chest bursted. Thank you very much.
Yeah, there's a lot there. And
anyway,
so thank you everyone for joining us, and we will see you next time.
Peace.
Thanks for tuning in. You can find more from Sir Nick by searching Great Tradition on YouTube. You can also find me there by searching Classy Chappy. If we name dropped anyone during the show, be sure to check them out and leave them a comment saying that Classy Chappy sent you. The intro music was by Kevin MacLeod, incomtech.com, used under Creative Commons 4.0. Thanks again, and we'll catch you next time.